Welcome back, everybody, to the Metropolis Bulldogs Teambuilder Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. Today we've got our next slate of 4 games here in year number 3 as we get through the middle portion of the season with an interesting 4-game stretch featuring some tough in-conference games against Memphis, East Carolina, and South Florida, and a big matchup against a top 10 opponent in the non-conference Clemson Tigers, led by senior quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. Should be a lot of fun. So we're going to start with the Memphis game first. The Tigers come in at 2-1. We are 3-1. We had a very interesting and exciting set of 4 games to start the year, including a game-winning touchdown in the Maryland game, a game-losing play in overtime against SMU, and a game-winning field goal against Tulsa. It was a wild first 4 weeks of the season. And it's also been a wild start to recruiting. Last episode was the recruiting special. In case you missed that, make sure to check out the series playlist with all the other episodes to the series. So through 4 weeks, the team is playing pretty well. We're barely 3-1 by the skin of our teeth, but we are 3-1. There have been some ups and downs. It has been far from perfect on either side of the ball. But we are playing pretty good football, and hopefully we can keep it going against one of the most talented teams in the conference. Memphis is a 99 overall safety in Quindell Johnson, a 95 overall quarterback in Seth Hennigan. They have a great running back as well, and Brandon Thomas, who's a 97. He is currently injured, and behind him, it's rough. They have 4 freshmen who have a career total combined of 0 carries. Not ideal. So they've got to hope that Thomas is going to be able to play through that injury. Welcome to Metropolis Field, home in the nation's capital. The 3-1 Metropolis Bulldogs set to face off against the 2-1 Memphis Tigers in what should be a fun in-conference showdown between 2 of the more talented teams in the conference. As the Bulldogs win the coin toss, they choose to kick off per usual. So with these 4-game episodes, we normally play 2 full games and we simcast the others. We're going to play this entire game and we're going to play the Clemson game as well. Nice run up the middle for Seth Hennigan. He gets about 15 yards. That'll move the chains for a Tiger first down. They have one of the most talented backfields in the country and plenty of other skill position talent as well. There's Kobe Drake down the field, a big gain, but he fumbles the ball. A shoestring tackle by Emmanuel Dukes, which not only saves a touchdown, but it forces a fumble, and it's picked up by the freshman Lewis Reed. An unbelievable play from Emmanuel Dukes, if it stands. That's the question, and it looks like the receiver was down before the ball came out by contact. So this play is going to be reversed. A huge break for the Memphis Tigers. They get to keep the play, keep the first down, and now the Bulldogs look to respond as it's a 3rd and 15. Seth Hennigan looking to throw it downfield. It's intercepted. Marcus Sorvanes, the redshirt freshman, with his first career interception. A huge turnover for the defense. That one will obviously stand. So now Metropolis has it back on offense, but not for long. Manuel Castillo gets an interception of his own. He's intercepted by Devontae Golden Nelson. So both teams trade off interceptions as if nothing happened, and the Tigers get it back as they look to take the lead here late in the first quarter. Seth Hennigan keeps it on the option. Hennigan with blocks, untouched into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Tigers are on the board. A 21-yard gain for Seth Hennigan, so it's 7-0. Not an ideal turn of events here for Metropolis. They have it back on offense, 3rd and 3. Castillo is sacked for a loss of 13 yards. A big play for Andrew Jones. The Metropolis offensive line through 2 drives has looked pretty bad. Memphis with the football back as it's 3rd and 6. Hennigan drops back to pass, and he is sacked. 3 Metropolis defensive linemen in the backfield. It's the senior, Jonathan Savage II, who brings him down. So that'll force a punt. The Bulldogs offense gets it back, looking to get something going on this drive. Not going to happen. Castillo misses the throw. Not a great first quarter for Manuel Castillo, who is the heavy favorite in this quarterback battle, but he's not doing himself any favors today. We'll see what Jonathan Roberts, the other QB, can do here in the second quarter. Is on 3rd down to wrap up quarter number 1. Brandon Thomas is tackled just shy of the first down marker, so Memphis will have an interesting 4th and short to kick off the second. Through 1, it's the Tigers who lead 7-0. So this is where things get kind of interesting. Memphis comes out for the punt here on 4th and inches. Metropolis is fully prepared for the fake. And surprisingly, despite being inside the 40, Memphis would punt it. Here's the problem. Cortez tries to catch it in the end zone. It deflects off his back. It's picked up by Memphis, and it goes for a touchdown. I'm not going to talk about that play any further. I'm just going to pretend like it never happened. Well, I can't really do that because it was a touchdown, but I'm going to pretend it didn't happen like that. So, Memphis leads 14-0. The offense has it back. Jonathan Roberts sacked for a loss of 13. The Metropolis offensive line has looked like a nice, smelly pile of garbage today. 3rd and 23. Roberts on the ground with a big gain, just shy of a first down. Shoestring tackled, but not before gaining 21. So the Bulldogs were kind of inspired by that run. Hey, why not go for it? Why not try to keep this drive going? Coach Isaiah Sparks is known for notoriously aggressive calls, and this one works as Victor Adams, the senior running back, is past the 50 for a gain of 12. A good run there for Adams. We go a few plays later, another 4th and 2. The Bulldogs have really struggled on 3rd downs today, so their new strategy is why not just try to keep getting them on 4th, as Andrew Williams is barely across the first down marker. Very lucky. He was probably a few inches away from not getting that. We have another first down. Jonathan Roberts under more pressure. He is sacked again. The Memphis defensive line is having a field day right now. That's Andrew Jones with his second. 2nd and 18. Not a whole lot of time left in the half as Roberts is smothered, losing 7 more. This time the sack is by Greg Rubin. That's got to be at least 4 sacks in the first half for the Memphis defensive line. The problem is their offense is not turning this into a blowout. Another interception for Marcus Sorvanis, his second of the first half. So pretty much, Memphis can't keep the football, and the Bulldogs' offensive line can't block for whoever has the football. Jonathan Roberts with an incredible run downfield. He gets about 35 yards. Although Jonathan Roberts has struggled to throw the football this year, he is so explosive. He can make so many great plays on the ground. And he has had some good throws here and there, like that one to Osiris Young, who gets 25 yards, bringing the Bulldogs very close to the end zone as we wrap up the first half under 40 seconds to go. The true freshman, C.L. Frost, on the jet sweep, puts Metropolis on the scoreboard as the Bulldogs finally are in the end zone for a touchdown. After a defensive stop, the Bulldogs would actually get it back here late in the first half with only 7 seconds left in a timeout. Roberts looking to run it, get them in field goal range, but the problem is he goes out of bounds with just too little time. The Bulldogs could have gone for probably a kick just shy of 50 yards had he gone out of bounds a split second earlier. So a wasted opportunity there to end what was a pretty ugly first half of football. Memphis leads 14-7. So we're kind of changing up the strategy a little bit. Although I think Jonathan Roberts was better than Manuel Castillo in the first half, we're going to give Roberts some snaps at running back. That was a nice carry. Jonathan Roberts is a really explosive athlete, and he was a multi-position player coming out of high school. So even though I still don't think he's going to win the QB battle, he can play other positions on the field. So we're going to try him at running back, wide receiver, see how he does as he loses 3 on that play, wrapped up by Andrew Jones. Assuming Manuel Castillo still throws the ball at a pretty high level, he should probably be able to win this quarterback battle. Kobe Drake gets 16 yards. Drake's had a pretty productive day, 67 yards on just 3 catches. And off for Brandon Thomas, really trying to tough it out through this injury as he gets a nice carry for a 15-yarder. Brandon Thomas hasn't been all that impressive today, though, I will say, as it's now 2nd and 10. Quarterback takes the sack once, but Hennigan is brought down. Second time the charm. Michael Roberson, the sophomore linebacker, with the play. 4th and 13. Memphis is going to go for it in field goal range. Interesting decision. They clearly don't trust their kickers. The pass is incomplete. Deflected by Cream Dukes. That was Hasil Diamantopoulos with the pressure. So the Bulldogs defense gets a stop. Can they do something here on offense? Well, the problem is when you have defensive linemen in your face the entire time, you can't really make any throws. Manuel Castillo, again, has not done himself any favors today, but you can't totally blame him. The offensive line, particularly the left side, has been a disaster. So Memphis has it back. Their offense still really struggling as Hennigan is picked off for a 3rd time today. The senior Hassan Antonio with the interception. So again, just like the first half, the Bulldogs are forcing turnovers. Memphis is forcing sacks. That's been the name of the game. One of these offenses has got to make a play soon. 3rd and 12 off the turnover. The Bulldogs do nothing. That time Castillo did have time to throw it, but he just couldn't find anybody open. Castillo's only completed 3 passes so far today as the 3rd quarter's in the books. No score change, 14-7. Really ugly game of football, but it's been close and it's been fun as Hennigan is brought down for a loss of 6 there on 1st down by Curtis Neal, who is really showing signs of improvement throughout the year as a first-time starter. So that would force a punt. The Bulldogs have it back. 3rd and 1. Handoff for Jonathan Roberts. That's Metropolis' first third down conversion of the game. They were 0 for 9 before that. Another 3rd down. We'll see if they can keep it going. Castillo scrambling to the right, looking to get it somewhere, and it is caught by Osiris Young. So now they're starting to get these 3rd downs working, and now the offense is really moving it. There's already under a minute left in the game. The Bulldogs are controlling the tempo of this drive. They've had the ball for almost the entire quarters. It's a 4th down to keep the game alive. Tico Chukwumereju, the fullback, gets 2. So again, that keeps the drive going. Clock continuing to tick, under 20 seconds. The Bulldogs not phased by the time at all as Castillo scrambles to the right, dives in for a touchdown. We are tied. The Bulldogs with the first points of the second half. As the time eventually expires, we are headed to overtime for a second time this year. The Bulldogs are 0-1 so far in overtime after faking an extra point unsuccessfully. We'll see if Metropolis learns from their mistake, as they're going to start out on offense this time. In the game against Tulsa, they started off on defense. Tulsa scored, Metropolis scored, and obviously blew the final play. The Bulldogs' only loss so far this year is in overtime, so hopefully they can get an OT win. First play to Osiris Young for a touchdown. That was fast. The very first play of overtime for the Bulldogs, they find the end zone, so Metropolis leads for the first time today. Memphis with the ball, 3rd and 6. Hennigan incomplete. Big hit from Delvin Hines the second, and the game comes down to this, a 4th and 6. Memphis, who has not scored since the first play of the second quarter on that botched punt, needs this to stay alive. Hennigan under pressure, he doesn't even get rid of it. Scout Lopez with the sack. That's your ball game. The Metropolis Bulldogs with 21 unanswered points to finish out the ball game. They win at 21-14. This game was not pretty at all. At times, it was very hard to watch, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. We're now 4-1, so I'm not going to complain, even if it was not aesthetically pleasing. We couldn't really throw the ball. Neither quarterback was all that impressive, but again, the offensive line was pretty bad. The run game for us was mediocre. The offensive line wasn't great, but Jonathan Roberts had a few really good runs, showing that he can make plays at running back. I'm going to give him some snaps at receiver. Osiris Young had a really good game. The other receivers combined for like 19 yards, so it's been kind of a one-man show lately, a wide receiver. The defense was unbelievably good today. They are the reason why we won this game. Memphis' first touchdown was off of their turnover, in which they started at the 20-yard line, and the other one was a special teams touchdown. So neither score was the defense's fault. We forced turnovers, 2 interceptions in the first half by Marcus Sorbanis, the other one by Hassan Antonio. The run defense was really good. The pass rush was phenomenal. This is probably the best I've seen this defense play ever. So even in a game where the special teams and the offense really tried to blow it, the defense comes through and gets us a big win. So we're now 4-1. We're feeling good. And that might change because we've got our hardest game of the season after our Week 7 bye week. So now we get set for our biggest test of the year in Death Valley against the Clemson Tigers, led by head coach Dabo Swinney. The Tigers come in as the 4th-ranked team in college football, the record of 4-1. This is going to probably be a rough game for us because although we have been exceeding expectations this year, we have not played teams at the talent level of the Clemson Tigers, who are a legitimate national championship contender. So we have really got our hands full. Heavy underdogs here going into Death Valley. But who knows, maybe we can shock the world and beat one of the best teams in college football, essentially eliminating them from national title contention if we were to do so. The Tigers come in at 4-1. They haven't been all that spectacular this season. Their defense especially has been a little bit blah, but their offense has been really good, scoring at least 31 points in all of their wins. The defense started off the year really well, but they've been a little quieter since. Clemson is number 4 in the coaches poll, number 6 in the media poll. So long story short, they're really good. They're a 99 overall team across the board. They have one 99 overall player in Miles Murphy, who's going to be a really high draft pick. He does not have a sack or a tackle for loss yet, though. He'll probably get that against us because our left tackle, Chris Adams, has not been very good this year. They have one of the most talented quarterbacks in the country with senior DJ Uiagalelei, who might have more pure arm talent than anybody right now In college football, they have a great duo in the backfield with Will Shipley and Kobe Pace. E.J. Williams is a legit #1 receiver. There are first-round picks galore on this football team, whereas we, on the other hand, I don't know if we have anybody who's going to get drafted anytime soon. So we've got our hands full on the road against a really talented team with a Heisman-level quarterback. So it's not going to be pretty, but again, maybe we can surprise everybody and upset the Tigers. Welcome to Clemson Memorial Stadium here in Clemson, South Carolina, as the 4-1 unranked Metropolis Bulldogs face off against the 4-1, #4 ranked Clemson Tigers. If the Bulldogs were to somehow, by the grace of Jesus Christ himself, win this game, you got to imagine they're going to get some top 25 looks. It would be the first time the Bulldogs are ranked in school history. But before we talk about rankings, we've got to come out here and execute. 2nd and 3, Uyunglele short to the left side for Sage Evans. He gets 11. The Tigers moving the football down the field pretty efficiently on this first drive. Not a ton of big plays, but they certainly look like the more talented unit. 3rd and 11, it's a screen for Kobe Pace with blocks. Will he get the first? He's just short. Nice tackle by the true freshman, Lewis Reed. I was expecting Clemson to go for it here on 4th and 1, but they're instead going to settle for the field goal. I guess I'm used to teams going for it in this range because they don't have NFL quality kickers, whereas Clemson probably does. The Tigers make the field goal, and so it's 3-0. 2nd and 4, Castillo, no time to throw it. He's going to be sacked for a loss of 12. It is going to be a rough day for the quarterback, the running backs, this offensive line as a whole, because Clemson's got some first-rounders on that D-line. Castillo on 3rd and 16, misfires for Trey Nixon, so that'll force a punt. The Tigers get it back. Strong start here for Clemson in the opening minutes as Uyunglele keeps it on the read option. He's not known for his speed as he Derrick Henry stiff arms Terrell Cream and is brought down at the 25. Uyunglele is not fast. He's not quick, but he's big, he's powerful, and he can make guys miss. 3rd and 4, short throw for Collins. Breaks a tackle into the end zone for a touchdown. Dakari Collins from 6 yards out puts Clemson ahead 10-0. These Clemson players are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic. That's just how it is, shown on that play by Collins. So it's 10-0. The Bulldogs have it back here late in the first quarters. It's caught by the Charleston, South Carolina native, Osiris Young, for a gain of 16. I think Osiris Young has a little extra chip on his shoulder. He really wanted to stay home. He was really interested in all of the South Carolina schools. Clemson was never interested in him. Obviously, he ended up picking us. It's worked out very well so far. But I think he wants to prove something today here against this Clemson team who never gave him a scholarship offer as he gets 22 on that play. 1st and 10 here for the offense. The Bulldogs starting to move the ball down the field pretty well. Castillo scrambles to his right, sends it back to Young, who gets it inside the 5. Being that man Will Castillo and Osiris Young were high school teammates, I think Castillo knows how important this game is for Osiris Young, so I think he's going to be targeting him a little bit more. First quarter in the books, 10-0, Clemson leads, but the Bulldogs will get on the board. No shutout today as Metropolis makes the field goal, so it's now 10-3. Clemson has the football back. DJ Uyunglele drops back to throw on 2nd and 10. He connects with Spector up the middle. A nice play for Brennan Spector, who gets 24 yards. He's Clemson's new Hunter Renfrow in more ways than one. 2nd and inches now from about the 40. It's going to be a read option. Uyunglele keeps it. Gets by the defender. There it goes. DJ Uyunglele inside the 5. Wrapped up by McGrew and Diamantopoulos. Only Metropolis will make DJ Uyunglele look like Michael Vick. On 1st and goal, Kobe Pace will go into the end zone with ease to put the Tigers ahead 17-3. Metropolis has it back. Here's some Jonathan Roberts action as he sends it deep. What a catch for Osiris Young, who's got to have damn near 100 yards at this point. About 3.5 minutes left in the half. Roberts scrambles to the right. He connects with guess who? Osiris Young. Once again, the Charleston native continuing to dominate as he's got 5 catches for $106. That'll lead to another field goal. Mark Mitchell, the lefty, splits the upright, so it's 17-6. Although I wouldn't say the Bulldogs are playing well, they're not getting totally obliterated yet. So I guess it could be worse. DJ Uyunglele keeps it on the read option, gets by Reed, and is eventually wrapped up by Delvin Hines. Our defense has done a lot better of a job of stopping running quarterbacks this year, but DJ, who's not really a runner, has 100 rushing yards in the first half. I doubt he has 100 rushing yards in his entire collegiate career entering this game, and now he has 100 in the half. 4th and 5, Clemson elects to go for it as Spector breaks a tackle and is in. Brennan Spector with a 26-yard touchdown. And so the Clemson Tigers now lead by 3 scores. It's 24-6. If the Bulldogs really want to get something going, they kind of got to do it on this drive. 3rd and 6, Castillo back in the game after Jonathan Roberts suffered a minor injury as he is sacked for a loss of 6. I think that was Miles Murphy finally getting to the quarterback. I had a feeling it was going to happen today. So Clemson has it back, looking to add even more to the lead. Uyunglele on first down. He is wrapped up by Delvin Hines for second. The Metropolis defensive line has been better than most of the team's units today, I'll say that. 2nd and 18, Uyunglele connects with Collins for the first down, who gets by Figgy Yakabuti. Yakabuti has been kind of annihilated in coverage today, and Yakabuti's been really good this year, but today, not so much. Just Kobe Pace on the screen brings it inside the 15, and now I feel like we're getting towards obliteration mode. The Tigers are going to settle here for the field goal to make it a 21-point ball game to wrap up the first half. The kick is good. So it's not looking good for Metropolis. Normally I would keep playing, but you got to keep in mind we're going through 4 games an episode. So with it being a 3-score game against a team as good as Clemson, I don't see a world where we're going to come back. So we're going to simulate the second half. If the game gets close, we're going to hop back in. But I don't think that's really going to be an issue. Clemson scores a touchdown. They lead 34-6, make it 41-6. The offense is doing nothing. As we're now in the 4th quarter, we're going to keep simming, considering we are down by 35 points. And it's just going to get even worse and worse. Clemson now with 62, make it 69. Yeah, that second half was rough. We gained 75 total XP today. That's like literally nothing. So, it was bad. Both quarterbacks were not great. We couldn't run the ball at all. Osiris Young was good. I told you that he had that extra chip on his shoulder going into this game, but the problem is literally nobody else did. Osiris Young is the only guy who looked half good out there. DJ Uyunglele was a machine. Kobe Pace was a machine. Will Shipley was a machine. I think Shipley had all 4 of those touchdowns in the second half when we were simulating. Their offensive line was unbelievable. Their defense was great. It was bad. I didn't think it was going to be good playing against Clemson, but I didn't think we were going to lose 69-6. So hopefully it can be a little bit better here in Week 9 against another one of the more talented teams in our conference, the East Carolina Pirates. This is the first of 2 Simcast games today. I feel like every Simcast game we've done this year, which to be fair has only been 3, but I feel like all 3 of them have been rainy. I don't know why all the games we simulate have been rainy. East Carolina is 3-1 in conference, 4-2 on the season, just like us. It's a very close race in the American Athletic East with everybody except for Capital College, who is 0-4 in conference. Our rivals, who started the year ranked, are the only team under 500 in our division. That's kind of a surprise. So it's been a rough year for the Capital College Flyers, who of course we will play against in the next episode. So last year against ECU was that unbelievably exciting quadruple overtime game, which we ended up winning. Hopefully we can win again. I think it's fair to say Manuel Castillo is pretty much the guy at quarterback. I just haven't really been able to develop trust with Jonathan Roberts. That doesn't mean Roberts doesn't have a future with our team. I'm still going to try him out at running back and wide receiver because I think he would succeed at those positions. But as of now, I think the quarterback battle's pretty much dead. ECU's kind of got a quarterback battle of their own. They've got 4 guys between 85 and 86 overall. The current starter is Mason Garcia, who's been pretty good this year. They have 97 overall running back Keaton Mitchell and 91 Rajay Harris. Harris has actually been a little bit better than Keaton Mitchell, which is kind of a surprise ratings-wise. I remember Mitchell played really well against us last year, so hopefully we can kind of limit what he can do, especially after allowing probably like 300 yards on the ground last week against Clemson. But obviously ECU is not Clemson. They don't have first-round picks on their offensive line like the Tigers do. So welcome to Metropolis Stadium, home of the Bulldogs at 4-2. East Carolina also 4-2, as we're obviously going to start on defense by kicking the ball off. So ECU is going to open up the game on offense. As it goes with the games that we simcast, we're going to simulate the whole thing. If it's close in the 4th quarter, we're going to hop in. So we're going to go quarter by quarter. The game starts off pretty slow. East Carolina scores, so they lead 7-0. But overall, both defenses are looking pretty good early in that first quarter. Into the second quarter, we'll see if the Pirates would extend their lead as they had another touchdown. It's 14-0. Our offense is doing literally nothing, whereas ECU is starting to turn this game into a blowout. They lead 28-0. In our last 2 halves of football, the second half against Clemson and the first half against ECU, we've been outscored 70-0. Yeah, we can't run the ball at all. And since we're down by so much, I said F it. Why not just put Jonathan Robertson at quarterback for the second half? I guess the quarterback battle isn't over. Manuel Castillo's numbers aren't even that bad. I think he's throwing for over 50% completion percentage. He hasn't turned the ball over, so he hasn't been that bad. But I figured I'd just get Roberts some more snaps as East Carolina adds 21 more points in the third quarter. They lead 49-0. So now we have been outscored 91-0 in our last 5 quarters. We finally had a touchdown at least, but we end up losing 56-7. 56-7 against East Carolina. I get it against Clemson, but ECU? Come on. Manuel Castillo outperformed Jonathan Roberts. Neither of them were great. Neither of them were bad. The problem was we couldn't run the ball. Emmanuel Cortez was good, 11 for 140. The defense was a disaster as well for the most part, other than a few good performances from Metropolis and Bowman. Mason Garcia threw for 6 touchdowns. He completely carved us up. Our run defense was a lot better. Rajah Harris only had 15 yards, but we could not stop the pass at all today. Our secondary got completely torched. The corners were bad. The safeties were bad. So after starting the year off 4-1, where our only loss came in overtime, and we felt like we were on top of the world, we have lost our last 2 games by a combined total of over 100 points. On the bright side, we do get our first 2 commits of the season with athlete Mike Davis and defensive tackle Prince Turk. 2 pretty big gets. Davis is his 6'5" offensive skill position player who's probably going to be a running back or a wide receiver. And then Prince Turk, I wasn't really expecting to get him. Boston College had the lead on him for a while. They kind of took themselves out of the battle, which meant by default that we ended up with him, and he would end up committing shortly after. So those are our first 2 recruits to this year's recruiting class, 2 players who I believe will be foundational pieces for our organization going forward as we hop into the final game of the day, another Simcast game here against the South Florida Bulls. I know this might sound a little bit dramatic, but this is one of the most important games in school history because we're a good football team. We know that. But we've been outscored by more than 100 points in our last 2 games. We've got to get it together. We've had this matchup circled since last year. USF was horrible a season ago, and they beat us like 41-7 at our home field. So we've kind of got to give some answers here. Herbie's rocking with us. We have more to play for than ever, really. USF is a talented football team featuring senior quarterback Cade Fortin, who kind of took over for Timmy McClain, even though McClain was really good against us last year. So honestly, it's kind of a good thing that we don't have to play against Timmy because I think he's a little bit better. They have a pretty talented team, but I think we can certainly beat these guys. Probably the least talented team we're going to play against today, but all 4 teams we played against in this episode are really, really good. So that doesn't say a whole lot. Welcome to Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa, Florida. Why is a team from South Florida playing in Tampa? I don't know. Just rock with it. USF sits at 4-3. We sit at 4-3. And as I said, this is a very important game for the Metropolis Bulldogs to get their act together and really get the season good again. We have to save the season pretty much from it spiraling downhill and out of control quickly. So we've really got to prove something today. And I'm going to be a little bit more willing to hop in depending on the circumstances in the second half. So as we simulate the first quarter again, both offenses kind of struggling. Is anybody going to score before the end of the quarter? They do, but they miss an extra point, so it's 6-0. USF looking pretty good early on so far. Still plenty of time as we got to stop. We score a touchdown, so we now have the lead 7-6. They answer right back, 13-7, make it 20-7. So USF leads by 13 at halftime. Not an ideal spot to be in. We've got to figure it out in the third as we had a touchdown. It's 20-14. We had the ball. We do nothing with it. So now here in the fourth quarter, we would actually have the ball right back. I think we forced a turnover. So this is how the game has gone so far. It's been a pretty odd game for the most part. It doesn't really seem like either team has really been able to get momentum and stick with it so far. We've had a couple big turnovers with Curtis Neal and Hasil Diamantopoulos, our 2 linebackers. I think one of the turnovers just happened. I'm not sure which player just happened to make it. So now we have the football in the red zone. Manuel Castillo's played quarterback pretty much the entire game. Is on 3rd and 10. He connects with Jonathan Roberts. That's Roberts' first career receiving touchdown. He's 6'4". He can run routes. He can catch. He can play receiver. I think there's a legitimate future with Jonathan Roberts starting on the outside at wide receiver. So the Bulldogs now lead is on 3rd down. Brian Beatty only gets a yard. Big stop for the defense, so now Metropolis has it back. 3rd and 1. Castillo drops back to throw it, looking for Cortez. Broken up. Nice play by the corner. So both teams are trading off the ball pretty quickly here. USF has it back. Another opportunity for the offense. 3rd and 5. It's a screen for Beatty, and he is just short. Big tackle by Terrell Cream. So that would force a surprise punt. I'm surprised USF didn't go for it, but the Bulldogs have it back. 1st and 10. Castillo looking to ice off the game, and he's going to do that sliding for a first down as USF calls here last time out. The Bulldogs would continue to run the ball a little bit more. As on 2nd and 4, just over a minute left, it's a handoff for Donovan Barrington. Barrington cuts to the right side. He is going to be in for a touchdown. It's been a quiet episode for Donovan Barrington, mainly because he spent the first half of the episode injured. So we haven't really said his name a whole lot, but it's good to see him making a play. 28-20, still technically a one-score game. USF still has a shot, but now they don't, as it's picked off by Figgy Yakabuti, his 3rd career interception. It was kind of a rough episode for Figgy Yakabuti, so I'm happy he got the turnover at the end. There's your ball game. We win it 28-20, scoring the final 21 points. Another come-from-behind victory for the Bulldogs. Manuel Castillo threw for under 50%, but this was one of his better games today. Castillo's been very average this year. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been bad. He's just been mid. The running game was fine. The offensive line was really good. 15 pancakes by our 2 offensive tackles. 3 interceptions thrown against Cade Thornton, who kind of had a rough day. Jerwan Newton was really good, 6 for 126 and a touchdown. But other than that, nobody really stood out here for the USF Bulls. So a good win. We needed to get back on the win column, and we do. So we're now 5-3 going into the final stretch of the year as we get another commit, another athlete. This is Stephen Brown, who is listed as a wide receiver. Brown is only a 70 overall. He's a 3-star from Bellevue, Florida. But I think he's a talented player. He's a little bit small at 6 foot 182, but he has an interesting skill set. I think he's more of a defensive back than a wide receiver, to be honest. I think he's probably going to be a corner, maybe a safety. We could use depth at both corner and safety. We did lose out on a lot of our other targets, though. Earl Bishop, Wingo, Chuck Johnson, and Timmy Bernard all going elsewhere. So the recruiting board continues to get smaller and smaller as we get ready for the final stretch of the season, which is in the next episode. And it opens up with a huge game against 6-2 Temple. Temple has surprised everybody this year. I'm pretty sure they're in first place in our division. After that, we have a much easier stretch, which is nice after our very challenging stretch today. We have 2-7 Houston, who's been horrible. 4-4 Capital College has been also disappointing. Houston and Capital College were both ranked at the beginning of the year. And then we finish off with Navy, a team that we've historically done very well against. So that's going to wrap up the episode. 4 more games into the season. We go 2-2 today. 2 come-from-behind victories. We were down by at least 13 points in both of our wins. The 2 losses, not as graceful, losing by 63 against Clemson and 49 against East Carolina. So I think today showed that this team continues to be gritty. They continue to fight hard, but we're also still a long way to go. So that's going to wrap up the episode. I hope everybody enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. Peace out.